Hello again. This is Pastor Weston Walker from Grace and Mercy Lutheran Church in Hermiston, Oregon, continuing our conversation on prayer. In the New Testament, we find reference to Christians praying at a certain hour, hints at that. It's tied to the Jewish tradition in which Christianity grew up, certain hours for prayer. In early Christianity, this was continued and developed in the time of monasticism to 8 or 9 formal hours of a day or of prayer for the day, on some of them during the night. Very elaborate system. The week I spent at a monastery, I lived that system, and it has a blessing all of its own. It's not what is going to be the key for most of us in deepening our prayer life. Many traditions, including our Lutheran tradition, has held on to 3 of these prayer hours. We find them in evangelical Lutheran worship, in the daily prayer section, morning prayer, evening prayer, and night prayer. And I think to have a consistent prayer life, for almost all of us, it requires some order or plan. If we don't have order, we don't have a plan, it doesn't seem to get much attention. This plan can be based on something like the hours, or it could be event-based planning. Let me give some examples. If we're using hours to guide our prayer life, we could do the monastic style throughout the day, or we could follow the ELW pattern of morning prayer, evening prayer, night prayer. Or for shorter prayer segments, people who have a watch that beeps on the hour, that beep can remind you to pause for a moment and take a moment to pray. Events that trigger prayer, many of us pray at our mealtime, and that's a time that we always think about praying. There are other times that we could think about praying that fit our routine. I know some people who pray when they commute, and they may have a long commute or a consistent commute, and they dedicate that time to praying. Now that we're giving so much attention to washing hands is a good time for praying as well. So you need to look at your life and see what works in your life to bring some structure and order to your prayer life. If all this is too much, simply set aside one time a day that fits your schedule for intentional prayer. Might be when you get up in the morning, or with your morning coffee, or when you're getting ready for bed, or some other time that fits your routine. Prayer is a spiritual discipline, and so it works best when we approach it as a discipline. Last week, in one of my evening prayer sessions, I ran across this prayer from the additional prayer section in evangelical Lutheran worship, and I thought it's very fitting for us. So I leave you with this prayer for today. O God, full of compassion, we commit and commend ourselves to you, in whom we live and move and have our being. Be the goal of our pilgrimage and our rest by the way. Give us refuge from the turmoil of worldly distractions beneath the shadow of your wings. Let our hearts, so often a sea of restless waves, find peace in you, O God, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.